Hello, everyone. Welcome back here again. My name's Scott. It's great to see everyone back here again. It's great you're back again. Today I want to focus on language of borrow and lend. Borrow and lend. Do you understand those words, and do you understand the differences between those two words? Borrow and lend. And I also want to put in here with rent. So three things today, or three words today. Borrow, lend, and rent. First on the borrow and lend, which is very simple because it's the opposite idea. So borrow is you get something or receive something, maybe temporarily from somebody, and lend is providing that thing to a person. And that could be a pencil, it can be an eraser, it can be money. So to lend and to borrow. Now, just to put these in the sentences, the first one I'm going to do with borrow. So I borrowed a pen from my friend. I borrowed a pen from my friend. Now, borrow is a regular verb, so just add the ed for the past tense and the past participle. So I borrowed, in the past, I borrowed a pen from my friend. I borrowed money from my friend. Okay, that's the borrow part. And probably in the borrow part, you will return it eventually, sooner or later. You're going to return it. Especially if it's money, because your friend wants that money back. So I borrowed something from my friend. And if I go to the opposite idea, if I'm in my friend's shoes, I lent. The verb is an irregular verb. The D changes to T in the past participle. Lend, lent. So I lent my friend a pen. Or I should maybe make it closer to my borrowed situation. My friend lent me a pen. My friend lent me a pen. Whereas I borrowed a pen from my friend. I borrowed a pen from my friend. So the lend and borrow part. So you lend somebody something, and that person borrows something. So lend and borrow. Try to remember the differences there, not to make a mistake. And the sentence structure as well. So I borrowed something from somebody, or that person, my friend, lent me or lent him, lent her a pen, an eraser, their dictionary. Many things are possible here. Just on the pronunciation, the borrow does have the R's in the middle. Borrow. So first on the ba and then the ro. And it's a regular verb and an ed ending. And lend with the l, end. Lend, past tense with a t, lent. Lend, lent. That brings me to the third word I want to do here, because that's sometimes the trouble. The word rent, not with an L, but with an R. R-E-N-T, rent. Now, the difference between rent and lend in the sense is that one involves money. Lend and borrow generally don't involve paying anything, whereas rent, you do need to pay for something. I mean, you have to pay for something, that rental, whether it's a DVD or a car, and that's the rent. So it's also a regular verb, just put the ed at the end of that. So rent, rented. Whereas lend, lent, rent, rented. So generally it'll be the person using that as the subject. So I rented a car from Toyota, for example. I rented a DVD from Tsutaya. So involving money. So rentals are generally not free. So you rent something, you need to pay. Rent as a noun is also used for your apartment or home. Maybe you need to pay every month. So you pay your rent to your landlord or landlady. So rent, pay rent to stay in your nice apartment. And the verb form, rent, rented, involving money. Let me put these three together in three more sentences here. So I borrowed my friend's car. There's no money involved here. He's a good person. He didn't charge me anything. I borrowed my friend's car. My friend lent me his car. My friend lent me his car. Whereas I rented a car from Nissan. Before it was Toyota, I changed to Nissan now. So I rented a car from Nissan. And of course, if you rent a car from Nissan or Toyota, you need to pay money for that. They don't lend it to you. You can't use it for free. Okay? That's the big difference, everybody. So with lend and borrow, generally there's no money involved. Whereas in rent, you do have to pay for that service, like a car especially. So lend, lent, rent, rented, rented. Focus on the usage there, which involves money, which doesn't, and also on the pronunciation with lend and L, and rent and R. And the conjugation lend, lent, lent, and rent, rented, rented. Very good, everybody. I hope this makes it clear. Thank you very much for coming and watching and liking and all that good stuff. And we'll be back here again soon. Until then, everybody, have a great day.